Hey guys, YouTube 100 here. Alright. And now here I am with another one of these, like, obscure 2000s, by popular desire, Disney movie reviews, as I told you guys in my last video. Now with another one of these. Now, this is a review for The Pacifier. So, yeah. So this was another one that I did want to review when I was doing, like, those, obscure 2000s Disney movie reviews. But, yeah, for some reason, like, it wasn't on Disney Plus or anywhere, like, when I was actually doing these reviews. Like, I remember back when Disney Plus did, like, originally launch, like, this movie actually was on Disney Plus. But as I was doing these originally doing these reviews, like, it just wasn't on there. I guess, like, it was taken off for some reason, and then I just recently searched again and they put it back on. So I'm not exactly sure why they took it off of Disney Plus. But yeah. So this was another film that, like, it came out in 2005, and really just I didn't really hear people really talking about this film at all. Like, yeah, it really was just a film that really just came and went, and nobody really talked about it. I mean, I did remember, like, I did hear, like, people talking about this at school a few times, but it wasn't really one that, like, was always getting, like, mentioned a lot. So yeah, so this is another one of those where it just came and went and just really didn't receive any recognition. Yeah. And also, this film really did not receive, like, a whole lot of love when it came out. Like, it only has, like, 21% on the Tomato Meter on Rotten Tomatoes. While it don't, and yeah, the audiences overall were, like, better on this film than the critics were. It has, like, a 58% audience score, so audiences definitely did like this film a lot more than the critics did. Yeah. And quite honestly, I'm not really sure why critics really didn't like this film. I mean, I actually really liked the film. I mean, I thought it was actually a good movie. Yeah, of course, like, this film does star, like, Vin Diesel. So yeah, so when people think of Vin Diesel, they probably really are thinking, like, really big, like, action type of movies, like films like Fast and the Furious and Triple X and Chronicles of Riddick and movies like that, like, just really big action movies when they think of Vin Diesel. So that's really, like, what people really do want to see when they see a Vin Diesel movie. And with this film, with it being a Disney movie, uh, I, I'm sure, like, people really were not really too big on Vin Diesel really being in a Disney movie, because they were really not really, like, thinking Vin Diesel's really meant for a family movie. So I'm guessing, like, a lot of people really uh, weren't, like, very interested in seeing Vin Diesel being in a movie like this. Me personally, I actually think that Vin Diesel starring in a Disney movie, like, and especially with the kind of movie that this is, I actually thought that that was kind of a funny idea. Just seeing, like, Vin Diesel, just a big action guy, starring in, like, a family movie. I thought that it was actually a pretty funny concept, especially, like, with the character that Vin Diesel does portray in this movie. Yeah, what the movie really is about is Vin Diesel is a Navy SEAL, and after, like, one of his missions ends in failure when a rescue attempt goes wrong after the person that he is trying to rescue ends up being killed. He learns that, like, the guy that he tried to rescue actually, like, has like a program in his house, so he's assigned to um go to his house to look after the kids while his wife actually travels to try to discover the contents in order to retrieve the program. And yeah, and so what this and basically, like, what the film really is, like, set around is really just a Vin Diesel's character really just looking after the kids. And at first it is, like, a very hard, like, him and the kids really are not on the same page at first, and yeah, the kids really just don't want anything to do with him. But over time, the kids really do learn more about, like, why he is actually there, and they really do start to get along, and he really does, like, form a bond and a connection with each of the kids. So yeah, so I really do think that the story actually is handled pretty well, and I really do like the connections that Vin Diesel's character really does make with the other characters throughout the film. So yeah, so I actually really do like it, and plus, yeah, it is a pretty funny concept, as I said, and with, like, a Navy SEAL really just being a babysitter, basically. Yeah, and there are, like, quite a lot of funny scenes in the movie. Like, it really does show, like, throughout the movie, like, each of the kids really has, like, like something that they really do like are like into, or what they learn, or just the problems that they go through. And Vin Diesel's character really does help them really overcome their problems and really does like help them straighten themselves out. Yeah, of course, like in the movie, like the kids really show like the older kids in the film with the passing of their father. It really just like with the older kids, it really is hitting them hard. But with the younger ones, like they really don't understand like the full concept of the situation yet. So yeah, so they are more understanding to it. But yeah, but the older kids, like it's showing that they really do like have the person. It really is like affecting them pretty hard. Like the staff at their school sees it, and yeah, even their mother sees it, and all that other stuff. Yeah, and there even is like a scene at one point in the movie where Vin Diesel's character really does like tell like the oldest child that like he really does understand like what they're going through, because he went through a similar situation with his father. So yeah, so it really does like have some heartfelt scenes like that in the movie. And yeah, and this film really does succeed where Snow Dogs really didn't, because I said in my Snow Dogs review like how Snow Dogs really didn't really succeed in like the heartfelt moments, because it always just like was ruined with like a goofy bit added into the scenes. Yeah, with this one, like when there is like a true like emotional heartfelt moment, it really does actually he, he um he succeed in it, because they are actually like pretty touching scenes. So yeah, so this movie really does succeed. So I'm not really too sure what it is that people really, well, that uh, a lot of people really don't like about this movie. I mean, I'm guessing it's just because like I think that these are like real big Vin Diesel fans, and they just really are not interested in seeing Vin Diesel star in a Disney film like this. But yeah, even then, like this film really does actually like seem like the traditional Vin Diesel movie at times, because as the film opens up, like as you're watching it, you're like probably thinking, "Whoa, this is a Disney movie." Because like in like the opening scene of this movie, it really does actually make it seem like this is actually like some kind of like military spy movie or something. Yeah. So yeah. So when you start watching the movie, this may actually make you really think that this is like one of like the typical Vin Diesel movies. But then yeah, then as the film progresses, then you realize that it really isn't. But even then, like Vin Diesel really is just like his natural self in here. Like he really is still like the big tough guy, and it really just does show like how he's still like just like the big tough guy that is always like in action, because there are times in the movie where he does actually fight off people. Like there's like people that try to break into the house, and he fights them off. And he even does like teach like the kids like how to defend themselves. And of course, like there's that scene where he does um wrestle against like the wrestling coach, and yeah, that's a funny scene as well. And so yeah, so Vin Diesel is still like Vin Diesel in the movie. Yeah, so yeah, Vin Diesel's just Vin Diesel. So I even like if people really don't want to see Vin Diesel in this type of movie, it is still like the Vin Diesel that people really love. I'm guessing just like this is probably like similar to like how people do react to like when to Arnold Schwarzenegger when he's really not in action movies, because that's how Arnold Schwarzenegger is really identified as just being an action movie star. And when he's really not in an action movie, when he's just like in like something else, such as like a Jingle All the Way or Junior or movies like that, how it's not an action movie, just they really don't receive like very good reception from people. And I think that's the case here with Vin Diesel too. But even then, like it is still like a pretty funny movie. I actually do enjoy it. Yeah, and I just really don't understand like what it is that people really are negative on this movie about, because I actually really do enjoy it. So yeah, if you haven't seen the movie before, I do recommend checking it out. Yeah. Even if you are like a big Vin Diesel fan and really just you don't want to see Vin Diesel and really like this kind of movie, I still think that you will get some enjoyment out of it, because, like I said, it is a pretty funny concept, and it is still Vin Diesel being Vin Diesel. So I really don't see what there really is to really complain about throughout the movie. So yeah, so overall, I actually think it is actually a good movie, and I really do think that it is really underrated and underappreciated. Yeah, so I would give this movie a 3 stars out of 4. Yeah, I do think that it is a legitimately good movie, and it really does really deserve more recognition than it does. And yeah, it isn't as bad as like the critics say, and even it's better than the audiences say it is. So yeah. All right, so I really don't want to like really make this too long. I remember like my last review was like 35 minutes. I really don't want this review to be that long. So yeah, so let me just get right into the story of the movie. All right. So as the film starts off, it shows that like a group of Navy SEALs are on a mission to rescue Howard Plummer, who's working on a top secret government project, and yeah, the SEALs are led by Lieutenant Shane Wolf, who's played by Vin Diesel. Yeah, and it shows that like Howard is like uh, kidnapped by a group of Serbian rebels, and so they have to rescue him off of one of their boats, which they eventually do get him off of the boat. But as they were Shane was trying to get Howard to a helicopter to escape. The enemy ended up attacking again, and Howard ended up being killed while Shane was injured in a shootout. Yeah, and then cut to 2 months later, and it shows that Shane is like really accepting responsibility for what happened to Howard, but his commanding officer, Captain Bill Fawcett, was explaining to him that like he was assigned now to escort Howard's wife Julie to Switzerland, where the safety deposit was discovered, and they have to retrieve the contents from it. And Shane was assigned to actually stay at the Plummer house to actually search for the secret program that Howard invented that was known as the Ghost. Which, yeah, honestly, like going off on a side note here, like the Ghost is like really like what Shane is really after in the film. He's trying to discover it, to retrieve it, to make sure that like everybody who's like breaking into the house can't really like get to it, because there's apparently like been intruders in the house who are actually after it. Yeah, so yeah, that's really like what Shane is really like trying to stop like the intruders from retrieving. But yeah, it's not really actually like fully explained like what this Ghost program's technology is. Like, what does it do? What is it for? And like what's its function? Like, what actually is it for? So yeah, that's something they never actually like full ever really explain in the movie. Yeah. But anyway, going on. Yeah. Then eventually, Shane then arrived at the Plummer house, where he did meet Julie as well as their 5 kids: Zoe, Seth, Lulu, Peter, and Tyler. And then that's like in the order of like their oldest to youngest. Yeah. Yeah. And it showed like at first how yeah, and then also yeah, before I actually like move on, there was also uh the nanny Helga, who was there also. Yeah. And then at first like Shane was like being like very hard on the kids, really just like not letting them like leave the house, sending them to bed very early, and then waking them up in the morning very early, and all this stuff, just like being very very hard on them, treating them as if they really were like Navy SEAL soldiers. Yeah. Yeah. And like I said earlier, like due to like their father dying, it's been like it really was affecting like Zoe and Seth in particular very hard, while Lulu, Peter, and Tyler, since they were like younger, like it really didn't hit them as hard. But yeah, with Zoe and Seth, it really did like hit them hard, and it was also like shown that they were like their school staff even noticed this did as well. Like it was really a problem for them because of like their demeanors and everything, like skipping class and all that stuff. Yeah, but I'll get back to that in a little bit. Yeah. Then, like, due to like Shane being like so hard on everybody, like Zoe and Seth tried to get Shane to get out, and they tried to pull a prank on him by oiling the stairs to get him to slip. But then Helga actually was the one that slipped on it, and due to that, like Helga just quit and left the house, leaving Shane alone with the kids. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then and and later on, like after like a Shane then like took the kids to school, like the school's vice principal, Dwayne Murney, who was played by Brad Garrett, like was just telling him like how bad uh Zoe and Seth were. And pretty much like he was pretty much like acting as if he was the real principal. But then yeah, then the school's real principal, well, Claire Fletcher, who was played by Lauren Graham, then came and just yeah took it from there and just like pushed Murney off the chair. Yeah. And then like she was actually talking with Shane, just like telling him that uh, Mrs. Plummer filled her in on everything that was going on. Yeah, she also actually like had experience in the past in the Navy herself. Health, yeah. And then yeah, she granted Shane permission to really like stay on the school grounds to watch over the kids. Yeah, and yeah, and then yeah, then like it also like showed like how Murney was the also the team of the school's wrestling, well, the coach of the school wrestling team. Sorry, I got a little tongue tied there. And Seth was a part of it, and Murney was always giving Seth a hard time because Seth really like wasn't really a really good wrestler or anything. Yeah, and yeah, so yeah, Seth was really like always being like heckled by Murney, and it also showed like how Zoe like has been skipping her driver's ed class a lot, and Seth was also like skipping wrestling practice. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, this was kind of like showing like some of the problems that they were going through due to like what happened with their father. Yeah, and then also like it showed that Lulu was also like part of a Girl Scout troop, and Mrs. Plummer was actually the den mother for it, and so Shane had to like fill in as the den mother for Zoe's troop, and so then he took them to Costco to sell some of their cookies, but it showed that Lulu and her troop were like always being like heckled and harassed by a rival Boy Scout troop who always like he's like just like pushed them out of their spot and really just like destroyed the cookies and everything. Yeah, yeah. Then later on, eventually, then one night, then like as like just it was like the kids really were just like yelling at Shane, just like saying that they were making everything worse for them when they were already dealing with tough times. Then a couple of like anonymous people dressed as like ninjas then broke in, and then like they were then like Shane fought them off eventually, and after that, then as Shane then explained to the kids that the those ninjas were after the ghost program that their father invented, then the kids then started to really like understand like what Shane was really there for, and so then that's when like Shane and the kids really did like start to understand each other more, and then and like Shane then noticed like some more problems that showed that like Seth ended up like dyeing his hair blonde and also was in possession of a Nazi armband. And yeah, and then and yeah, then uh yeah, then it was eventually revealed that Seth was actually like actually did uh join like a stage production of The Sound of Music, which is why he dyed his hair and had the Nazi armband. Yeah, but it shows that like just the like everything just seemed out of order for the production, and the director just ended up quitting. But then Shane then took charge of the direction of the show. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Then yeah, then eventually one day hey it showed that like Murray was heckling Seth some more, and Seth also revealed that the only reason that he didn't join the wrestling team was because his father wanted him to, and then Seth finally stood up to Murray and quit with the team. Yeah, yeah, and then yeah, then and when Murray just continued to heckle Seth, then Shane finally just stood up and just challenged Murray to a wrestling match in front of the entire school. So that day after school in the gym, then Shane and Murray then like, had a wrestling match where Shane just really made quick work of Murray and just took him out while toying with him. Yeah. Yeah, though, yeah, the pin was always something that I've always kind of complained about because, yeah, Shane just like knocked Murray down on his face and had him in kind of like an armbar, and then, yeah, Seth just came down and counted him out, but Murray wasn't even on his back, so how's that even a pin? Yeah. Then it showed like over the course of like 2 weeks, like it showed that Shane was and was really like helping out the kids. He was helping Seth with the production, really helping him rehearse. He was giving Zoe driving lessons, and he was also teaching Lulu how some martial arts to defend themselves against the Boy Scouts. Yeah, and it also like showed how there was this bit where like Peter, who was like around 3 years old, always needed to like have somebody perform a Peter Panda dance that Howard had actually made up for Peter to make him sleep. Yeah, but it was later revealed that like there was more to this dance than really just um helping Peter sleep. Yeah, but I'll get back to that later. Yeah. then when the Boy Scouts then tried to come and heckle Lulu and her troop again, and then Lulu and her troop totally fought them off. Yeah. Then yeah, back and then in Switzerland, it showed that like at first um Zo Julie and Bill just needed a password to actually access the deposit box, but yeah, they didn't know what it was for the 2 weeks, and then eventually then Julie then figured out that the password was My Angel, which was engraved on her wedding ring, and then Bill and Julie then were able to retrieve a two-pronged key. Yeah. Then then that heartfelt scene that I was talking about earlier, you like showed that like how Zoe was just like sitting on the edge of the balcony, like she was just talking about like how she really does miss her dad, but she really is like trying to be strong for the rest of the family. And Shane also like talked to Zoe, just saying like how he was in a similar position because his mom left when he was really young, and his dad shipped him to military school when he was 8, and then eventually his dad just ended up dying. So Shane really did like was in a similar position, so he really does understand what Zoe and the kids are really going through. Yeah, yeah. And then they got a call from Julie saying that she would be home in the morning. Yeah, and so then the kids then just immediately planned a welcome home party for her. But then yeah, then later on, Shane then discovered like a secret vault underneath the garage, which had a lock for the key that Julie and Bill retrieved. Yeah. Then, when Julie and Bill then returned home on the following day, okay, as Julie was reuniting with the kids, then Shane and Bill went to the garage, and Shane was just telling him that he's rethinking his career. And then, yeah, those ninja dressed intruders then appeared again, and it was like revealed that they were the plumber's neighbors, the Chuns, who were like North Korean bakery owners. Yeah. And then as Shane was like trying to fight them off, then but Bill just like all of a sudden just knocked out Shane, and then he was revealed to be a double agent. Then with the kids gagged with Mr. Chun um, watching over them, Bill and Mrs. Chun took Julie down to the vault, and as they opened it, it showed that there was a security system that they couldn't pass. But eventually, the kids were able to escape, and they revived Shane, and he sent them to go get help. And then, as he did that, then as Mr. Chun tried to chase after them, but they eventually forced him to crash. Yeah, and then then Shane then like arrived in the vault and really just like helped Julie and Bill get past the security system, and he was able to do it by the Peter Pan dance because the moves of the Peter Pan dance and were all moves to dodge all the obstacles in the security system. Yeah, so yeah, Shane was able to get by it. But then then when they got by it, then Shane and Julie fought off Bill and Mrs. Chun, and then when Bill then seemed to like have Shane at gunpoint. Then Shane voice activated the door to the vault, and the door opened and just hit Bill in the back of the head, knocking him out. And then Shane and Julie then discovered the Ghost program, which was like just like a small chip. Where, like I said, it wasn't really like fully explained like what its function was or what its power was or anything. Yeah. Then the kids were able to like lure like a crowd of police officers to the house. And then, as Mr. Chun then arrived and like just held them all at gunpoint, Shane then just was distracting Mr. Chun long enough because the pet duck Gary, and as Shane placed the ghost in the ground, stepped away. Shane had the pet duck Gary bite Mr. Chun in the nuts, and then Claire then arrived and was able to take him down. And then then Bill and the Chuns were arrested, and then it seemed that now Shane was going to be going away, so he seemed to just say all his goodbyes and everything. But then as he was like embracing with like Claire and Lulu, then he was just telling them that like they still had one more mission, and then it cut to Seth's performance of The Sound of Music, and then backstage like it's Shane and Claire were talking, it was revealed that like Shane retired from the Navy and he was now the school's new wrestling coach. Yeah, and then it just was like Claire then just like was telling Shane it was going to be nice having him around, and then they kissed backstage, and then then the movie just ended with like the Sound of Music performance ending and everybody applauding. And yeah, Shane and Seth embraced, and yeah, Murdy was just like taking credit for everything because he was one of the nuns in the play and just being very off key and everything. And then yeah, then that's how the movie ended. So yeah, so like I said, it is a pretty funny movie. The idea of like Vin Diesel and with this type of story is a pretty funny concept. And yeah, and yeah, and even then, like I said, just like even if you are a big Vin Diesel fan and if you really don't like the idea of him being in this kind of movie, yeah, it Vin Diesel is still Vin Diesel in this movie, so you will still get like the Vin Diesel that you know and love. Yeah, and even then, like the story in the movie, I do think is really good. The performances are good. It has some good heartfelt moments. So yeah, I do think it is a legitimately good movie, and I really don't see like why it hasn't really received a very good reception over the years. So yeah, if you haven't seen it before, check it out because it is a good movie. All right, so I would give the movie 3 stars out of 4, like I said. All right. So I guess that's all I can really say about it. All right, so this is it for my review of the Pacifier. Hope you guys did enjoy this review, and yeah, and I've got one more of these by popular desire reviews coming up. So yeah, yeah. So I'll have one more of these reviews after this. So stay tuned for that. All right, but I hope you guys did enjoy this one. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.